So here's another challenge. We've been asked by an elementary teacher to create an app to help her students learn the faces of the presidents on Mount Rushmore. And in order to do that, we're going to have to learn a little bit about how we can register clicks on an image. So you're used to using buttons, and you can tell if a user taps a button. But with an image, we're going to have to look at the coordinates of the click and then determine whether or not the click is within some region which represents a president's face. So some of these faces look like circles. Maybe that makes the president look like Bozo. Let's find a circle radius here. This slider in this app that I've made increases or decreases the radius of the circle. And I'm just sliding it out until I can find a size that best fits the president without overlapping his neighbor. And I think this circle right here probably represents George Washington. And so we could say if a child were to click in that circle, then we would count that as a click on George Washington. But how would we do that? The information that's showing down here is that the coordinates of the click were 57, 75. That's 57 pixels over and 75 pixels down to the center of that circle. And this 38.35 is the radius of the circle. It's the distance from the center to the boundary of that circle. So we could use those coordinates to figure out if the click was within that circle. We could give it credit for George Washington. We can make a similar circle for Thomas Jefferson. Might want to make the radius of that a bit smaller so that we're not overlapping. You don't want to have conflicting information so that if a child clicks on one place, it counts for both presidents. But we could definitely use this to define regions which count for Washington and for Thomas Jefferson. Now, for some of the faces, the shapes are a little different, and they may be better represented by rectangles. So right here, Theodore Roosevelt, I might give credit if the child were to click anywhere inside that rectangle. I can make the rectangle taller by increasing its height. It's too much. Let's see what Lincoln looks like. Lincoln, we might need to make him a bit wider. And so that might be the region that I would allow the student to click on to count as Abraham Lincoln. The way we are handling rectangles is a bit different from circles. We still have the XY coordinate, but the XY coordinate for a rectangle is the top left corner in this case. And then these other things, 61 by 85, those are 61 pixels further to the right and 85 pixels further down to find the other corner of this rectangle. So if I know the coordinates of the top left corner and I know the width and the height of the rectangle, I can find the coordinates of the bottom right corner by adding. So in this shape Rushmore app that I'm showing you here, this just lets us explore this graphic in terms of shapes and sizes, and then we're actually going to build an app which uses that information to do something useful for some elementary students. So here's the app that we are challenged to build, and when you click on a president's face,
George Washington,
the text-to-speech
Thomas Jefferson,
speaks the name of the president clicked.
Theodore Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln.
And if you click somewhere else, it says nothing at all. Now, you can see over here that this is made from just a canvas and a text-to-speech. And all of the computation happens
George Washington,
behind the scenes where the canvas is clicked. Now, we're going to need to be able to do certain things like find the distance between 2 points if we're going to tell whether something is in a circle or not. And we're going to have to do some logic, some ands. So if it's between here and there, then it'll count as something. And I'm going to make a set of videos to help walk you through this. And together, we'll be able to make this app and hopefully get it in the hands of some elementary students to give us feedback on it.